Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Northern Rockies Museum and our online programming. And I would like to introduce you to our revamp. We are calling it the Learning Railway. And yeah, you're going to watch me. I get this backwards. The day that I get the finger pointing thing right, be a big day. So, as you can see, to the far side is our new Learning Railway logo. And that is what you are going to be seeing instead of quarantine, because we could be here for a while, and we love this style of sharing our local history and educational stuff and fun stuff with you guys. So let me hide it. I know it's so cool. Maddie made it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Terra. I work at the Northern Rockies Museum here in Hinton, Alberta. And I work with the amazing Madison, who she and I will trade back and forth. And this week, we're going to celebrate Mother's Day because, as I'm sure all of you know, Mother's Day is when? It's Sunday. It's this Sunday, not next Sunday, not Sunday in 2 weeks. It's this Sunday. So, anyone who's listening, any dads, any moms who know that they've got to buy this Sunday. Okay, just this Sunday. So, we are going to be working through some women of the Yellowhead to share with you, some amazing women that you should definitely know about. So, let's put our thing away. I'm big now. Hello. And let me find our first lady. We are going to talk about Alma Anderson. Does anybody know who she is? Well, this weekend, sadly, the Medicine Lodge Rodeo was supposed to happen, but because of this darn COVID, it's been canceled, or at least rescheduled. Hopefully, we see the fall rodeo. They do a spring and a fall. Hopefully, we see the fall. And Alma Anderson is an amazing woman that you should definitely know about. So let me pull her up so I don't get any of this information wrong because she's pretty special. She was a woman who built her life her way. She constructed the road into her property at Medicine Lodge by herself with a stone boat and a horse. No cars, no trucks, no heavy equipment, just herself, a stone boat, and a horse. And apparently a very strong back. She was this is a very cool fact. She was one of the last people to ride a horse into Edson every day because she didn't get her first car until 1964, and only because she won it in a bingo. Yeah, I would like to win a car in a bingo. So, as her children told us when we were very lucky and got to sit down with them and learn all about their amazing mom, Alma firmly believed in equality, and she was rarely seen in typical ladies' clothes. She would wear them for weddings and funerals and baptisms and important events where a woman should look like a woman. But other than that, she wore men's clothing. She wore men's shirts and blue jeans and even men's underwear. In 1971, sadly, her husband passed away in a tragic drowning accident, and Alma continued to raise 6 children all by herself. In 1980, she began the Medicine Lodge Rodeo that we've already talked about, where she insisted on racial equality for all competitors and all audience members. In fact, if you showed any disrespect to any rider for any reason, she kicked you out. Pretty amazing. That was not the expected behavior in the 80s. Racism was kind of okay in the 80s. I know. Can you believe it? It was a long time ago. So she believed that respect was earned only by work. Didn't matter what you looked like, it mattered what you did. And her rodeo, the Medicine Lodge Rodeo, which I'm sure all of you have heard of, continues today thanks to the work of her children and her grandchildren and her nieces and nephews who proudly carry on her memory and her appreciation for a hard day's work. So Alma's a pretty amazing lady, and you guys should definitely learn more about her. You should definitely check out the Medicine Lodge Rodeo when it reopens. Hopefully, it is so much fun, and you'll love the clown. The rodeo clown is actually her son, and he's amazing. So you should definitely check it out. And if you find any of her family members walking around, you just ask them about her, and they are more than happy to tell you all about this amazing woman. So let's move to our next amazing lady from the Yellowhead area. Who should we talk about next? let's talk about Barbara Ann Burroughs. I have a soft spot for her. Barbara Ann Burroughs was actually born in Old Entrance on July 16th, 1922. Old Entrance is kind of to our west, kind of between Hinton and Jasper. There was a train station there, and so that's where she was born. At the age of 6, she became blind. And while this might have slowed down other kids, it didn't stop her. She left home to attend the Vancouver School for the Deaf and the Blind. It was quite normal back then if a child had a disability, and parents didn't really have an ability to take care of them, and a blind child would be quite a challenge on a ranch. They would be sent to a special school, like a boarding school, where they could get education and learn practical skills and learn how to handle their disability in a way that their parents wouldn't have been able to. So she went to the Vancouver School for the Deaf and the Blind, where she was introduced to music, which eventually led to her attending the Royal College of Music in London, England. That means, did she get on a plane? Think about it. Probably not. She probably took a boat. I know, blind girl took a boat all the way to England. So she got her associate's degree at the Royal College of Music in piano performance. She came to Edmonton in 1952. She taught piano, acted as president for the Edmonton Music Chamber Society, and was a broadcaster for CKUI and CBC Radio. She earned a Master's of Music and was awarded an honorary doctorate from the University of Alberta. So while at the Alberta Music Centre, Anne developed a program, Music Through Braille, which included a foreword by Prince Charles. You know who I'm talking about. The Prince Charles, the next in line for the English throne. Yeah, that guy. She was then named to the Order of Canada in 1992. Do you guys know what the Order of Canada is? It's the highest civilian honor anyone in Canada can receive, period. I know. And she received the Alberta Centennial Arts Medal in 2005. What can we learn from this outstanding woman born in a tiny town, not even a town, a tiny dot on a map called Old Entrance? What can we learn from her? She was blind. She was sent away from home. But she found that thing that she loved and she chased it and she went after it and she shared her passion for it with everyone that she met. And her Music Through Braille program was actually music in Braille. It had never been done before. She actually created a language of music for the blind, which is why she was given the Order of Canada. So more than a musician, she was an inventor. And she expanded the ability for people with a sight disability to enjoy and experience and feel music. I love her. So, yeah, she's pretty amazing. Now, who should we talk about? You can tell I love these ladies. I really do. So we'll put her away. And I do have a craft today, too. There is a printable on our website. I hope you got it. We have 2 more women to talk about before we do it, and then you can look it up. You just click on that fancy moving logo I showed you at the beginning, and you pick on the May 6th printable for Mother's Day, and it pops right up. And if you don't have a printable, that's okay, too, because I'm going to show you how to do it even if you don't have a printable. I know, handy, right? So the next lady we're going to talk about, I like her too. Can you tell I like all of them? Her name is Amelia Spanich. So let's figure some stuff out about this outstanding lady. Let me just pull her up so I don't get anything wrong. So Amelia Spanich was born in 1926 in Yugoslavia. That country doesn't exist anymore, but it did when I was little. Her family moved to Mercoll, Alberta in 1931. Mercoll is actually on the coal branch, and it's to Hinton's south. It doesn't exist anymore. There are some summer cabins out there from that are usually members of family from people who used to live there or who were born there, but no one lives there anymore. There's no town site. When she got here, she couldn't speak English, making her first few years of school very difficult. I'm sure you could imagine if you were in a country and you didn't speak the language, it would be really challenging. In 1941, she met and married Robert Bob Spanich. He was also a recent Yugoslavian immigrant who was working in the coal branch. Amelia assisted Bob as much as she could with his timber business up until his tragic death in 1949. Following the loss of her husband, Amelia was placed in the very difficult position of managing the timber business. And back then, women weren't allowed to hold business properties. She got very lucky. Two members of her family, who were male, agreed to sign on her behalf, and so she was allowed to keep control of the business. She had a lucrative contract with the Canadian National Railway supplying ties. But over time, the lack of amenities in the coal branch forced her to move her business into Edmonton. Remember, I said Mercole's not a town anymore, and it was in the 50s that it started declining, and there was a real lack of any sort of amenities out there because businesses were leaving. She traded her sawmill equipment for two new Caterpillar D7 dozers, or what those of us who have worked in the business call them cats. I used to work in mining. And she was looking for work in Alberta's booming oil fields with all of her new equipment. In the hopes of securing work from the city of Edmonton, she went to register her cats, only they sent her to the pet desk for registration. They thought she had cats when she had dozers. Big difference. I don't think they expected a woman in the 50s to be registering cats. Probably not. But she got it all figured out. She was met with many struggles working in a largely male-based industry. It still is today, but even more so back then. She was bestowed the Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal for community service, as well as nominated for the Woman of Vision and the YWCA Woman of Distinction Award. She also holds the distinction of having a song written about her by a Nashville recording store highlighting her life's journey called Tattered Bag. And her son has shared with us that the reason that it's called that is because despite the picture that you see of his mom looking quite lovely, see, I got it wrong again, looking amazing, she apparently carried around with her this nasty bag. It was falling apart. It was shredded. It used to be white. It wasn't white. Not anymore. And it carried all of her important papers, and she refused to trade it for anything else. Maybe it was a good luck charm. Nobody really knows. But she never put that bag down. So a country star wrote a song about her called The Tattered Bag, which that's pretty cool. Nobody's ever written a song about me. And if they did, it wouldn't be called The Tattered Bag. I don't use a purse. I know. And now I have one more woman. And then we'll do the craft. I promise. It's coming. But you still have time to get that printable if you want it. So let's put Amelia away. And here's our last lady. Not least. Simply the last. And not the last of what we have. When we are available to open after all of this COVID stuff is done, we have another 6 women that we would love an opportunity to share with you. So once we're able to, and you guys are able to come visit us, please let us tell you about these other 6 amazing women. And we were actually in the process of exhibiting another 10 women and having a pretty big party to celebrate them, and then coronavirus. So hopefully soon we will be able to revamp all that, and we'll have another 10 amazing women to share with you. So yeah, look forward to that. Keep an eye on our Facebook feed for any information that we have coming up about what we're going to be able to do and how we're going to do it. So enough waiting. Our last lady, Elsie McAvoy. You may not have heard of her. You should have heard of her. If you're from Hinton, anybody who was around in the 60s, definitely heard of her. Can you see what's hanging on the wall behind her? By the way, all of the artwork that was done of these women, who do you think did it? It wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me. It was Madison. I know. Very talented girl. Not girl, woman. Definitely talented. So, Elsie McAvoy, last but not least. Let me pull her up. So, this is a crazy story. On March 16th, 1962, Elsie McAvoy rescued 6-year-old Brian Kilbreath from an attack by a cougar near Hardesty Creek in Hinton. If you're from Hinton, do you know where Hardesty Creek is? Do you know where Crescent Valley School is? Or the Kinsman Park? Yeah, down there. He was playing with 2 friends when a cougar jumped onto him and began biting his neck. Brian's friends ran for help, but they kind of had a habit of crying wolf, and no one really believed them. But Elsie, who was a really small woman and whose son was named Brian, panicked and ran to the area. And word is she was actually recovering from surgery. So she wasn't even at full strength, but she was very short, like 5 foot something, but not 5'9" like me. 5 foot something, short, small. So she ran thinking it was her son. But when she arrived there and saw a cougar with his mouth on a kid's head, she didn't even hesitate. She grabbed a 5 foot long branch and beat the snot out of that cougar, all over that cougar's head until it let go. It took 10 or so hits. The branch then broke, but she grabbed the animal's head and smacked it on the nose. The cougar finally released Brian and slumped. So she took the opportunity, grabbed the boy, and everybody ran away. She was met by neighbors, the big strong men, who then shot the cougar. It was found later that the cougar had a fractured skull from being hit by Elsie. Brian was taken to the hospital in Hinton and then transferred to Edmonton. He required over 150 stitches and he nearly died from severe blood loss, but thankfully recovered and is still alive today. For her heroism, Elsie received the Carnegie Medal in 1962. The Carnegie Medal is actually named after the Carnegie family in the United States. And it's not often that they extend their heroism medals outside of the United States. A few people every year internationally, but it's not particularly common. So it's very rare that this would be something given to a Canadian, but it's wholeheartedly deserved. She did not even hesitate. She also received letters from the Prime Minister of Canada at the time, whose name was John Diefenbaker, and the Vice President of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson. I know. She didn't even hesitate. Just ran out there. She was recovering from surgery. What kind of surgery? We don't know. We've heard rumors, but we don't know exactly. But she didn't, nothing. Just, there's a cougar, there's a kid, there's a big stick. Beat it up. Wow. Definitely deserving of you guys knowing about her. So we are going to put her away and we are going to work on our craft. So we are going to make paper flowers for our mothers for Mother's Day, because what's the likelihood that we're actually going to get out of the house? How likely is it that we're actually going to get out there and be able to buy some flowers for our mom? Probably not. So I want you to pick some bright color paper. If you don't have bright color paper, you can pick white paper and you can color it. I know, totally works. So what I want you to do is just kind of cut off about that much. So if you were to fold your paper in 4, we're going to do this pretending we don't have a template in case you, weren't able to print off the printable template that I put on the website. So if you'd like, you can actually fold the paper in 4 widthwise, which just gives us some little cutting lines, okay? So can you see that? We've just got 4 little lines, and I'm reusing some paper that had some paint on it because waste not, want not, right? And then we're going to cut along one of the folds so that we have our first piece of paper. Perfect. So it's a long, skinny rectangle. And now I want you to just kind of fold the 1/4 top. So about, you see how much I'm folding there? Can you see it? About that much. Nothing has to be perfect. Mine never is. Look, you can see it's not straight. Folding and cutting are not my skills. We have established this, but I never stop trying. So we're just going to fold it. This is just a guide. This is just a guide for us to cut. So then we're going to open it up. So you kind of have this little lip here. Now we're going to cut a whole bunch of strips all the way up to the lip, not all the way to the end, just to the fold that we made at the top, okay? And you want your slits to be about that big, okay? Just all the way across, all the way up just to the fold. Don't cut through the fold. This kind of cutting I can do. Okay, all the way up to the fold. And I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I know in Hinton, we had some fantastic weather. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic weather. And I know today in Hinton, it was glorious. They actually called for snow this weekend, but we didn't get any, so that was good. So once you cut it all the way, you have this fan looking thing. So now I'm going to show you the part that can be a little tedious. I have some pre-made so you can see what it looks like. I did it in blue. What you're going to do is you're going to roll each one of these down so that it looks like this, okay? So where the fold is, we're going to roll toward it, and we're going to roll it really tight. So you just want to start at the top, and you just want to roll your construction paper all the way down. We're going to actually make 2 of these strips. So you're going to end up with 2 that look like this. And they don't have to be perfect. Don't have to be perfect. So there's my first one. So I'll do a couple more with you, and then I'm going to switch over to the ones I've pre-made, and I'll show you how to make the leaves and the stem and how to put the flower together, and then you can press pause and you can work through this on your own, because you don't want to watch me roll all of these. That would be very boring. I know. And I can see that my window is making weird stripies on me because apparently the sun is bouncing off of things and apparently needs to land on my face. So there's 2 of them. Can you see? We'll do 2 more. So what do you guys think of our name, Learning Railway? You like it? Maybe? We like it. And we are going to have only 2 videos every week. We're going to have one that's kind of long and one that's shorter. And then we are going to even have shorter ones that will be on our Facebook page. You can always check out what we're doing on our YouTube channel, which is Northern Rockies Museum on YouTube. You can also, if you're interested in some of our crafts and maybe we don't have them up on our website, you can go to Teachers Pay Teachers and type in Northern Rockies Museum and check out what we have there. And in fact, for today and tomorrow, in honor of Teachers Appreciation Day, everything in our Northern Rockies Museum store on Teachers Pay Teachers is 20% off. So if you're interested, I would definitely check it out while everything is on sale. So you are going to keep going, and I am going to pick these ones up. Whoops, if I don't drop them, pardon me. And I am going to show you how to put these together. So we are then going to move to our green. If green is what you want for the leaves and stems, this is your flower. And again, I just want a quarter piece. So if you want to fold it in 4 so that you have a cutting edge so that you know where to cut. It's usually the best idea for me. You can see my folds. I'm just going to cut one of those rectangles off again, okay? I'm just going to give this a quick cut. And then, have you guys ever accordion folded? All I want you to do is as wide as you want your leaf. And I want mine to be about that wide. Can you see how big? Does that make sense? And I just want you to fold it back and forth and back and forth. It does not have to be perfect. Okay, I hope you have a glue stick handy. We are going to need one of those. And then you have a little book. Now, if you want, you can draw the shape of a leaf on the top so you know how you're going to cut it. It's up to you. So you can make it as wide or as little as you want. And I'm actually going to fold that in half again because I want little skinny leaves on mine. But it's totally up to you. So I'm going to end up with a piece this big. And then, hopefully you guys can see this. I'm just going to kind of outline the shape of a long skinny leaf. And I'm only going to cut out that much of it. The bottom part I'm just going to leave alone. Okay, so fat paper cutting time. So I'm going to do my best. Ooh, flying paper. Now I have to clean up later. But that's what makes arts and crafts fun, right? Is that they're a little bit messy. All right. So now I'm going to unfold it. And I get this. Now, I want them to all curl. So if you've watched our videos before, I made a paper flower with you guys that was 3D. Well, this is going to be really similar. You're just going to take your thumbnail and you're just going to run it underneath. Look at that. They're curled. Can you see? There you go. Look at that. And we're going to do that to all of them. Just nice and quick. And we only need one of these. And then we're going to make our stem and we're going to put it all together. And you can make a whole bunch of these and then you have bouquets. And the best part about paper flowers is one, they were made by you. Far more thoughtful to get a gift that's made by somebody than a gift that somebody bought. I mean, I appreciate a purchased gift. Of course I do. But if somebody took the time to make me a present, oh, so sweet. So for the stem, I want you to cut off one of the rectangles and just put it away because we're not going to need it. Or if you want a big stem, you can just use this whole page. In fact, let's just use the whole page. I want you to start from a corner and you're just going to roll it. Okay, you're just going to roll it. Let's see if I can do this so that you can see without my big hands in the way. Just going to keep rolling it and getting a nice long tube. Okay, sorry for the paper noise. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, and we have a tube. And now we need our handy-dandy glue stick. You can use hot glue, or you can use a glue stick. Doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. A hot glue gun would be faster and is probably a better choice for me, but I didn't think of it. So I'm going to use a glue stick and hope for the best. So now we're just going to glue this shut. Just like that. Okay? Excellent. So now we're going to put our flowers on. So starting at the very top, we're going to put some glue. And we're going to glue our string of curled paper right to the tippy top of our stem. Right on top, just like this. Okay? And now we're going to curl this on a bit of an angle all the way around. You see what it's doing here? How we're starting to build up a flower? And then we're going to glue the bottom. But you already knew that. Glue this bottom piece on. Now remember, we made 2 of those flowers, so we have to put on our second one. Okay? So we're just going to put the glue right on top of where we ended the last one. And glue that right on top. And then coil it all the way around. I know, you guys already know this. You guys know how to do this. Just roll it around. If you get confused at any point, just press pause. Press pause, press rewind. I'm not going anywhere. I'll wait for you. That pause button's magical. And then it goes, oh, look at that. I know, right? And then glue the end, okay? So that flap right there, you want to glue it to the stem so it doesn't uncoil on you. You just worked really hard. You don't want to undo it. So there, we have that, but it's not done yet, is it? No, it needs leaves. So we're going to do the exact same thing with the leaves. So you want to pick apart where you want your leaves to start, and then you're going to glue the inside and glue it to your stem. Put it at a tiny bit of a down angle so that you can roll the leaves around your stem. Just a tiny bit. I'll show you. So when you line up your leaves on your stem, you could go straight up and down or a little bit out, okay? So straight up and down? No, a little bit out. And that way, when you roll it, it doesn't all pile on top of each other. See, it's kind of spaced out a little. And then glue the end. You already know this. All right. And this is almost done. One flower takes about, I don't know, 10 minutes with all the curling and rolling and gluing. But isn't a bouquet of these absolutely gorgeous? You can make them in any color you want. You can color your own paper and make them rainbow. You can make them unicorn. You can make them Batman. Doesn't matter. It's yours. And if you want to try to puff these up a little, you can kind of loosen the little flowery ends, make it a little bit bigger. And my challenge to you guys is to look up and find out what kind of flower we just made. And then when you see Maddie tomorrow, you can tell us, because I'll be in the comment section watching. You can tell us what kind of flower we made. I know we don't have the mystery suitcase anymore, so now we are making a mystery flower this week. This is for Mother's Day. For any woman in your life who you think deserves a pick-me-up. Doesn't have to be a mom. Kind of like a fancy way of just saying thank you for being motherly to me, to anyone who you know darn well loves you And I know you have lots of people in your life who love you, no matter who they are, even if they're not mom, even if they're auntie or grandma or your neighbor, even if they're your dad. Yeah, it's okay. You can give your dad flowers. Totally can. Totally can. So I hope you liked our flower. I hope you liked our women. Please tell us in the comments down below if you had a favorite, if you had someone that you were just like, oh, I need to know more about her. We will be happy to share as much information as we can about these outstanding women of the Yellowhead. I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic Mother's Day with the person in your life who loves you and mothers you. And I know I'm looking forward to it with my family. And hopefully, soon enough, people will start getting healthy and we will be able to see one another in person. Until then, stay home, stay safe, much love, and we will see you soon.